Welcome to the Marriage Steps podcast. We're developing a long-lasting, happy relationship is the status symbol to achieve. And following my 6 marriage steps is a path to help get you there. The 6 steps are establishing a covenant foundation, owning your brokenness, learning to share power, developing emotional attachment, cultivating sexual fireworks, and staying in love. I'm your host, Dr. Wyatt Fisher, licensed psychologist and marriage counselor. If you enjoyed the episode today, please subscribe, click the 5 stars, and leave a review. The more positive reviews I receive, the higher the podcast will appear in search results so others can find it and receive tools for their marriage. Also, please call me at 303-596-6836 and leave a message with what topics you would like me to cover in the podcast. Today I'm going to focus on 5 ways to manage attraction to others. We're wired to be attracted to other people. That's what eventually leads us to want to marry and then to have children. So it's part of our wiring to be attracted to other people. And a lot of us think that's going to get turned off when you get married, but it doesn't. Even though you're married, you're still going to find other people attractive in your life at some point if you haven't already. So the first thing to consider is you need to expect it. Some people don't expect it, and they think once they get married, they're never going to feel any type of attraction towards anyone else ever. And sometimes that happens, but it's very rare. Most of us continue to find other people attractive, even though we're married. So the first tip is expect it. It's normal. It's okay. It doesn't mean you married the wrong person. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It just means you're human and you're finding other people attractive. That's how you're wired. So expect it. The second tip to consider is when you're out in public and you notice an attractive person, practice the policy of don't look twice. When someone goes through your visual field the first time, you can't control that. You can't help that. And there's going to be beautiful people walking in front of you no matter where you are. And that's normal. And you're going to notice. You're going to notice that, wow, that's a beautiful person. Or wow, they have a beautiful this. Or they have a beautiful that. Or whatever it is, you're going to notice beautiful people. You can't help it. However, what you can control and what you can help is if you look at them a second time and a third time. And when you start doing that, now you're starting to hyper-focus on them, which is starting to violate your marriage and your spouse. Because that can feel very dishonoring to your spouse if you're looking at another person a second and a third time. However, seeing them the first time, you can't control that. But again, you can control looking at them a second and a third time. So practice and experiment with this policy of don't look twice. A third thing to consider is beyond people in public you find attractive, you may find people attractive that you have more contact with, such as neighbors or colleagues or friends of friends or you name it. People that you meet on a regular basis, maybe even a waiter or a waitress or someone at the grocery store that works there. You're going to find people attractive that you come in contact with. And if you have that in your life, it's very important to limit your contact with those people. You may even need to cut them out of your sphere if you feel strong attraction to them, because normally that's a pathway to affairs. When you find someone attractive and you start moving in that direction because you're drawn to them, it's playing with fire. And you may be drawn to all sorts of things. You may be drawn to physically how they look. You may be drawn to just their personality. You might be drawn to how they make you feel. It can be a variety of things. But if you find yourself starting to feel attraction to somebody, get rid of them. Get them out of your life. Change your routine. Go to a different grocery store. Do whatever you need to do to limit and even eliminate contact with that person. I was working with a couple one time, and this is exactly what happened to this lady. She was in a relationship with her husband, and some of her emotional needs were not being met. And she started becoming friends with this neighbor. And this man was an excellent listener, very empathic, made her feel really cared for. And she started feeling attracted to him because of that. And one thing led to another, and they started having an affair. And that's how it goes. And that leads to point number 4. What is the root of your attraction to other people that you're coming in contact with? Is it how they look? Is it because of their temperament? Is it because of what they make you feel? You want to discern the root, because if you can discern the root, that's important data to then take to your partner and process how that could be satisfied in your marriage. So if it is physical attraction, for example, perhaps you're less physically attracted to your spouse as you used to be. So perhaps that is something to discuss. Or perhaps this other person you're attracted to is making you feel really adored, and you're not really feeling that from your spouse anymore. So maybe that needs to be discussed with your spouse. But it's critical to look for the root. What's making you attracted to these other people? And then leverage that for content to process and discuss with your spouse so that you can start getting those needs met in your marriage, so you're not looking for that somewhere else. A 5th tip to consider is your online integrity. How much integrity do you have with what you're looking at online? A great way to answer that question is to ask yourself, if my spouse was with me, would I be looking at everything online that I currently do? Most likely, the answer would be no. A lot of people online start looking at all sorts of things because they're attracted to these people online. They start looking at Facebook photos, or they start looking at celebrity photos, or they start looking at Instagram feeds of scantily clad people, or even pornography. They start looking at all sorts of things because they're attracted to these people for a variety of reasons. And most of the time, they wouldn't look at almost any of it if their spouse was right next to them. So how much integrity do you have online? But consider that becoming a guide for you. If my spouse was right here, would I still be looking at this? And consider the impact it has on you when you allow yourself to look at attractive people online. Most likely, it's going to make you even more discontent in your marriage with your spouse, because now you're going to compare them to these attractive people or videos you're watching online. So it's going to compound your discontent. So those are some things to consider with the 5 ways to manage attraction to others. Number 1 is expect it. Number 2, in public, don't look twice. Number 3, if it's someone that you're having contact with, limit or eliminate contact with that person. Number 4, what's the root of your attraction to other people? And explore that with your spouse to get those needs met more in your relationship, in your marriage. And then 5, strive towards better online integrity by thinking, if my spouse was here, would I still be looking at this image or this video? Thank you for listening to the Marriage Steps podcast, and be sure to tell your family and friends about it. For more marriage resources, go to my website, drwyattfisher.com, and follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/Dr. Wyatt Fisher, or on Instagram at Dr. Wyatt Fisher. If you believe in this podcast and would like to help me reduce the divorce rate, one marriage at a time, by keeping it on the air, please consider becoming a monthly supporter by going to patreon.com/marriage steps. That's patreon.com/marriage steps. Also, if you're happily married, I would love to have you on the show to hear your story so others can learn from you and be inspired. So if that's you, please email me at info@drwyattfisher.com. And remember, your marriage is a living organism. If you care for it, it will thrive. And if you don't, it will die. The choice is up to you. Take care.